Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to be breaking down some subscriber gameplay and giving a few tips and tricks. The map is going to be Point to Hawk and the mode is going to be free for all. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some different things throughout the gameplay, give you tips and tricks. Hopefully you enjoy that type of content. If you do, at any point enjoy the video, make sure you click the like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And then go ahead and make sure you got the notifications on, so every video I post, you'll get a little alert saying that I posted a new video. So let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the class setup. He's using the MG42, the Devil Pianos 2 variant, so that's a heroic variant. The extended mags on an LMG, that's awesome. Rapid fire is good for this weapon. And then he's using FMJ. So since he's not running armored, FMJ is a great scenario if he's going to be shooting through objects. Ordnance is great because you can get the kills and then get you those streaks pretty quickly. As far as the expeditionary goes, this is really good because if you use S-mines and free-for-all, it's a good way to cover your back. It's not a one-way fix as far as 100% protecting you, but it does go a long way in stopping people from just flanking you without you ever hearing them. Flashbangs, that's pretty good setup overall. So as far as the setup goes, pretty nice so far. Let's get into some of the gameplay. So at the start of the match, he goes ahead and sets up this little S-mine trap behind him. Like I said, that's a pretty good way to go if you're in free-for-all. It covers that side. Because generally you do want to lock down a certain area and essentially camp in free-for-all. You can run around the map, but odds are people will spawn in an area that's behind you and kind of just screw you up in general. One of the things that I notice a lot when he actually comes to this window side is he's not actually centering the weapon very often. To make sure it's aligned with where it should be. And I'll give you a couple examples of that and I'll freeze it throughout so you get a few of these still shots. But one of the other things I want to talk about is the HUD, which I'm going to get to as well. With this example, you can see that where he's aiming at isn't close to the top doorway. Ideally, you want to aim at the center spot, and that'll give you the best opportunity to sight in and snap onto the target. And as you'll continue to see throughout the doorway, he does that same thing when he sights in. He's not necessarily where he should be. I would recommend sighting in at that mid spot, only because if you sight in too high, your actual weapon will block your crosshairs or block actually your vantage point of that lower section. And then you can actually put yourself at risk of getting shot and not even knowing that someone's there. Again, he comes back and forth to kind of patrol. He hasn't got that recon yet. He hasn't got a kill. He hasn't really got any kind of map awareness because everyone's probably on the other side by the bunker. Moving around, depending on if this is a full lobby or not. It's kind of hard to tell because he hasn't checked the little screen for the actual scoreboard. So he's kind of going back around. He did get a kill right there. That guy ended up walking in. Someone threw a nade, but he's playing super passive. I would have maybe pre-aimed as he came out and then started firing because he does know kind of where the guy's at. You can see him on the mini-map. He's the only person he knows. So he's either below or above. And see how his crosshairs were again at those boxes down low. And then again, he's kind of right there. See, so as he goes too high, it does block a little bit of the, see how it blocked the bottom if there was another guy there? Luckily, this guy had a shotgun. The range, he outgunned him just because the range is not fair at that distance. The shotgun will not win that unless you're just a horrible shot. So he's kind of patrolling back and forth. He knows that there's a couple people around him. That one he snapped right onto the target. It's a pretty good spot there. And then he's just kind of watching his side. He's listening maybe for audio cues if someone's walking up the trench. So he's doing pretty good so far. Just kind of locking it down, playing a little bit conservative, which is completely fine. But the problem is he's going to get into it where he's end up chasing kills, or the clock's just going to run out and he can actually lose either by time or someone else outscoring him. Because if this side of the map isn't hot, you got to pursue some of those kills if you're looking for wins. If you're just looking for KD, camping like this will get you really far. But overall, your score per minute is going to be really low. So in my position, I would recommend if he's trying to go for actually a little bit higher score and go for a win, is maybe reposition on the bunker side, set up a similar trap. It looks like they're trying to rush him. That guy got him. Now he has a recon. This guy runs out. Pay attention how he drags his ADS across versus trying to snap back in. That's probably because he has a little bit lower sensitivity. He's not able to keep up with the guy until he gets upstairs. Normally a good player would have killed him, so that was a huge mistake on his part not to re-ADS. He fired so many bullets, this guy just ran by. He got a free kill there with the bouncing Betty. So obviously that guy was a scrubby player. He ran right out knowing that there's people there, and then he turned around. He didn't really have good map awareness and see that the guy was behind him. With that recon in the air, he should have got good map awareness knowing where everyone's at. Because right now he knows that there should be people right in front of him coming from that bunker side, the little corner bunker with the turret, and then just kind of paying attention to that side. Kind of ran around the corner, comes back, ADS. You can see he's firing the whole time while he's ADSing versus trying to snap back in. So that's one thing I'd highly recommend is let go of the L2 or the left trigger and then go ahead and sight back in. Bouncing Betty got him. He almost killed himself. And then right here, you see he just rounded the corner. He could have came around the corner, kind of centering for where he thought people would be, and then pre-aim and then fire. Basically, as he came around the corner, he would have completely melted this guy because he had better positioning based off where he knew where the person would be. The guy was just kind of running towards him, but he was a little aggressive on that Bouncing Betty. Again, right here, he's throwing the flashbang, which is okay. He knows that somebody's over there, but he's over pursuing that. So that one was just kind of a little bit bad timing. He comes off spawn, tries to throw a little bit of a flashbang, and then gets hit. So this is another area. This one's probably gonna be a little bit hotter right here. And you can see he sets up his zone. He didn't see that guy run right past him. You go ahead and watch that again. You'll see that the guy runs right past. It happens really quick, but you can see it. And also you can see the guy on the mini-map as he's placing this Bouncing Betty. He's right there on the mini-map. You can see he hits him twice, but very slow. You can see the guy. I saw him the first time through, but it was only for a split second. So there's one thing I do want to talk about the HUD that I'm seeing as a huge mistake that this player's making and a lot of players make. And it's not just preference. There's actually a fact that this is going to improve your overall gameplay with your awareness, which I'm going to show you right now. So when you're playing, you want your HUD safe area to be as small as possible. Right now I have mine as small as possible. You can see where everything's at. It's a little bit tighter to the middle of the screen. And then I'm going to go ahead and change the safe area and look how it is. And this is how this player is playing. They're playing with the margins as close to the edge as possible. Ideally, that's what you do in certain games, but for the Call of Duty, you want all your little HUD as tight as possible. Now you can see everything's at the edge. So now if I'm looking at the top in the mini-map, I'm basically looking at the corner of my screen. So my eyes are diverted so far away from the center, makes it a little bit harder to track people, especially if you're playing on a bigger screen. This gets harder and harder to do. So again, I tighten the screen. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison so you can see that difference. And as you can see, there is quite a bit of difference between the spacing of the two. But obviously that's personal preference, and my preference says that this is the better way to go. And most Call of Duty players that you actually see that are YouTubers, that are pro players, all that good stuff, they have that tighter one just because the distance between the center and the mini-map is tighter when you actually make the HUD smaller. It's a small thing, but it adds up to a big thing. It might have been one of the reasons that he actually missed that guy. He's looking at the mini-map, then he's missing out on the screen. If he's looking at the screen, he's missing out on the mini-map. If you are enjoying the video so far, remember to click that like button, go ahead and subscribe, turn those notifications on, and let's continue the process. So he gets back into this room. He made a few mistakes coming out of spawn. Just go ahead and rush heavy. You see he's already died a reasonable amount of times. Just 7 times is kind of a lot for this mode. You kind of want to keep it 10 or less, right? And he's getting close to that 3 more, and he's only got 10 kills. So you ideally want to position yourself in a way that you're going to win. Right here, he did have his centering a little bit better locked down. He probably would have got melted if he didn't have it where it was supposed to be. So obviously he has an idea of doing it, but it's a matter of that discipline to do it every single time. Bouncing Betty saved his butt right there. He did see, I don't know if he saw that guy ran around by the tank, but I saw him. He didn't actually look that way, aim. That guy could be coming for him, but that guy was running by the tank. So another missed opportunity there for another guy. Another guy just ran out of the building back into the tank. So that's the second guy he missed. And ideally, when you're playing this way with those 2 S-mine Bouncing Bettys, you want to put yourself in a position that you're pretty much facing this window the entire time. So when people pop out, easy kills. This guy would have never made it this close. This guy is probably the guy that ran out of the building, around the tank, ran down, ran up, and it was too late for that LMG to take him out. So right here, he comes right out of spawn and almost placed a Bouncing Betty exactly on where a Bouncing Betty is. So if you're a Bouncing Betty user, S-mine user, you got to know where you place Bouncing Bettys is probably where the enemy team is going to place Bouncing Bettys. So literally he placed it probably like 2 feet away from where that Bouncing Betty was. Right here, he just walked in on this guy. Could have easily killed him before. Kind of looking around the room. He was kind of centered on the floor versus actually on the guy. So another kind of centering issue there. But if that guy was looking at him, that guy probably would have destroyed him because it took a little long to get him. Another guy was right there. He missed him completely. He's shooting at this guy. His back's not covered, but there was a guy over here by that little barrels and that little wood spot. So he's running out of the building. He gave up his good positioning. I don't know. He's kind of changing it up. He's got to be disciplined to stay in here. But that guy was over here where he's standing now. So who knows where that guy's at now. He just threw a bad flashbang. Hit himself. Not in a good position. Goes and peeked the window. You can see where his centered crosshairs are. It's never at the center of the building. Or at least it's not there regularly. So he was in a bad position here. He could have been able to take out both of those guys. If he was focused on aiming center, he would have taken out the first guy running out. He would have taken out the other guy. Good clean kill coming up over here. Places a little Bouncing Betty. That guy runs up. Guy has mountain on, so it's kind of hard to defend against that. He didn't know he was on the recon. But positioning wise, you got to kind of look around your surroundings a little bit. So right here, he's running around the map. He's down by 1 kill. Goes and sets up his little S-mine trap again. Comes back over here. He continues to come back over here. And a lot of the centering issues he has is just getting shot from around. So that guy had mountain again. He snuck up. So right now what you're going to see is that he runs up over here. He has a good clean shot on people. But what ends up happening, he just holds down the ADS. Look at him. How he's just holding it down, firing non-stop. Wasted probably 30 bullets there. He could have ADS'd back and forth. That's pressing that trigger to go ahead and lock on, and then actually burst fire with the weapon. Make sure he has a good accuracy versus just wasting an entire clip. I would bet money that this individual probably doesn't use rifles because they probably run out of ammo too regularly, versus having the LMG. They're going to be able to land those shots. So getting more accurate. You got a good bouncing Betty there. That was perfect, solid. This guy spawn. Look at holding the aim down sight again. Not lining up that shot. You got to have that centering down, lining up the shot. This person could be way more accurate, land way more shots. He's running away, and instead of dropping down, he still gets the line of sight. He's already been hit 2 or 3 times. You got to slow it down a little bit. Right now, he's getting ahead in the kill count. He's up 23 to 20. Full lobby still, so he's kind of running around, again, running around versus actually kind of peeking where he's at. He knows this is a hot spawn. When you know there's a hot spawn for this building, you have to treat it as someone is always in this building. You can see the guys downstairs coming up behind him, shooting him. You can see him on the mini-map. So the map awareness is huge. Again, it might be that HUD thing and not being able to multitask. It takes a lot of practice. So, you know, if you're newer to the game, that's perfectly fine. But it looks like you're a master prestiger, so you want to make sure that you're actually paying attention to both of those. And I think having the HUD there will actually do that for you. Adjusting your aim to be a little bit more accurate, because based off how you aim, you're very inaccurate because you hold down that aim down sight for too long and you don't re-snap in on targets. You got to be a little bit more familiar with the spawns, knowing that this is a hot spot for you where you just spawned. Is a lot of people right there. So if you take too long getting to this corner, you get shot in the back. Another guy coming up over here where he's standing and killed you, that's a hot spot. Where you just spawned in this building, it's a hot spot. So you got to know where the hot spots are. As you play these modes more frequently, you get more comfortable with where the hot spots are, and you can reposition yourself to make sure that you're not getting shot in the back on a regular basis. So knowing that this house has somebody in it on a regular basis, I would already be pre-sighted in for this house, but you can see he's looking at the floor again. So that's just kind of how it is. He ended up winning the match on time. It was a very slow match. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you did, go ahead and comment that down below in the comments section. Or if you want your gameplay reviewed, make sure you comment down below and I can kind of walk you through that process. If you did enjoy the video anyway, remember to click that thumbs up, that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn those notifications. Thank you for watching. And as always, have a great day.